What's up, everyone? It's NFL Week 13, and this is your DraftKings NFL Week 13 main slate first look, where we're taking a look at the Sunday-only games. We're going to look at the matchups. We're going to look at the salaries. We're going to look at the position groups and come up with a first look of sorts with a first look lineup as well built at the end. So, without further ado, let's jump right into NFL Week 13. And of course, I always like to start with the domination station and of course the game tiles to get a sense of if there are any matchups that seem to stand out this week more than the others. So let's get a look, and we're taking a first look together. So here we've got the Texans at the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is expected to return for this game, so there's that. But more importantly, man, the Jaguars defense has been an absolute sieve, as they say. Terrible. If you remember a couple weeks ago, the Lions just went to town on them. So this Jaguars defense is not good. Mixon and Collins and all of the Texans pieces are going to be interesting in that one. Steelers at the Bengals, 47-point total. Bengals 3-point home favorites. Sure, Steelers are playing a little more offense, but they are shutting down opponents as well. So that one probably has a little bit of that, NFC North or AFC North, low scoring defensive battle potential. We'll see. Some of those division matchups kind of look ugly. Next, we got the Seahawks at the Jets. Jets are such a mystery right now. It's too early in the week to know who their quarterback is even going to be. So I don't know what to make of that game at this moment. I'm going to leave it off here. Generally, I'm not going to take Seattle. They're barely favored, and even in the spot where no one knows who the Jets players are going to be, that's more, I'm not touching Seattle, and maybe have some interest in the Jets pieces, depending on who is the quarterback. Colts at the Patriots. Also interesting, the Colts are road favorites here, home underdog Patriots team against a bad Colts defense. Interesting. We can get some pieces going in that game. Richardson maybe as well. So that game does have some potential, I think. Titans at Washington. Washington coming off of a disastrous loss to the Cowboys. I mean, that's a rough one. If you're on the Titans, that's just a rough one to take. I don't know what to make of it. Or if you're on Washington, I mean, brutal. But they're going to bounce back, probably get their W here at home. Washington defense, we'll take a look at how Will Levis has been playing. A little better lately. Now, here we go. Chargers at the Falcons. This one stands out to me as a great one to target. Both teams can score. Chargers defense has been really good this year, so we'll keep that in mind. I'm interested to see what the power rankings say. But in general, 47.5-point total, super close game. Falcons slight home underdogs. But they have a ton of weapons that are great to target this season, especially Bijan and Drake London and Darnell Mooney. So that one could be interesting on both sides. And of course, on the Chargers side, I after last week's drop debacle from Quentin Johnston, I think we can start to give up on him and really expect Ladd McConkey, Will Dissly, and Will really to step up. And of course, an injury to J.K. Dobbins might mean we get a cheap Gus Edwards or somebody like that as a running back play in a good matchup. So we'll definitely want to monitor that one. Cardinals at the Vikings, 45-point total. Vikings home, 3.5-point favorites, depending where you look. So that's an interesting game. Why not? Sure. Viking side, Justin Jefferson is there, all that good stuff. So we'll take a look at that one. But the game total seems pretty neutral. Bucks at the Panthers. Again, we'll go right back to the Bucks pieces. Don't know which one it's going to be. Got to see what happened with Evans last week and with the running back crew. I think they split it really, really kind of evenly with the running backs, which is less than ideal. Rams at the Saints, 48.5-pointer. We're almost at the best one. But Rams at the Saints, 48.5-point total there. Rams, road 3-point road favorites or 2.5-point road favorites in this game. Listen, everything about the Rams is fun to play from a DFS standpoint. Puka, Kupp, Kyron, they're all fun plays. Saints side, I mean, we got Kamara kind of doing his thing. They don't have a lot going on at wide receiver. So, we're going to keep that in mind. Now, finally, what I consider to be the game of the week. We've got the Eagles at the Ravens, 50.5-point total. Ravens, home favorites, getting the 3-point home favored matchup, but these two teams are fantasy points bonanzas.
Boner alert.
It happened. It happened. Got the tingle for this one. That's an exciting game to target. Lamar, always want to play Lamar. And Jalen, love Saquon, Derrick Henry. So many wide receivers, A.J. Brown. Lots to do in this one. So we'll take a look at that game as well. And that should just about do it for the matchups. Now let's shift over to actually one more thing I want to look at here on the Domination Station. I always love to sort by early week value to see who is kind of bubbling up to the surface. And Justin Herbert pops as the top dog, and I get that. I do get that. Kyler Murray, okay. Geno, not in love with it. Baker, sure, against the Panthers, why not? There we go. Early week pops. Here you got Chase Brown, fine. Kamara. This is really early stuff. Too soon. Too early. But I just like to give a quick browse to see if anybody's popping. Yeah, Booty again. Then Drake London. T. Higgins is interesting. Okay. All right. Zach Ertz. Disley. There we go. All right. Before we do the position-by-position breakdown, I have to let you know that it is Black Friday / Cyber Monday, and we've got a special going at DFS Army. For those of you who want to check it out, promo code BF2024 gets you 50% off your first month of VIP. VIP is all sports, DFS package, the optimizer, the projections, the notes, the cheat sheets, the Discord, every sport, ownerships, player projections, prop projections, everything you need to crush at DFS is here. Promo code BF2024. We had another 2 people take down first place in the showdown on Monday Night Football. If you watch the Thursday breakdown, you'd see those guys. So congrats to all those winners. And that's just what keeps happening. DFS Army, helmets up, everyone. Get in there. BF2024, $45 gets you a month of DFS Army VIP. You don't want to miss it. All right, let's go. Let's get into this slate, player by player, position by position, starting with the quarterback position. And all right, here we go. In our game of the week, you got Lamar and Jalen Hurts up top here. Both stand out as great plays, great matchups, all that good stuff. Which one's better? I don't know. Is it a better matchup for Hurts? I think it might be. Maybe it's the Hurts game. But Lamar is so darn good. What if it's Lamar? Could be either. Now, both these teams play pretty good defense, especially, Eagles. They play good defense. But again, Baltimore's kind of immune to pretty good defenses because of how they play. So I'm not too worried about it. I think we can pick either one of these guys and make a great lineup. Now, this is the first look. And on the first look, I never pick the most expensive quarterback, to be clear, or I try not to. But I absolutely love those guys. So we are keeping them in mind, and they will be the primary kind of quarterbacks that we're going to build around, I think, in NFL Week 13 on the main slate. But we can't build around those guys on, in the first look because it's too early in the week. There's no value that has presented itself yet, or it's not definitive. So it'd be too tough for me to complete a full lineup. Plus, I like to find those hidden gems. So we'll see if we can find one here as we continue on with the quarterback group. Jaden Daniels coming off a brutal game. Probably in a great bounce back spot here. When I say that the team lost, not a great outing, but that the team lost. But could bounce back. The team could bounce back in this spot, get this W. And of course, Jaden Daniels is probably going to be at his best if the other team is scoring as well. So we have to pay attention to that. We've got to pay attention to the running back situation too for the Commanders. And if Eckler seems to be concussed. So we got some running back concussed, and I saw a Q tag on B-Rob. So let's see what's going on there. If the running backs are both kind of banged up, I will like Jaden Daniels a lot more. Burrow at home, tough matchup against Pittsburgh. Playable, but tough. Mayfield on the road against an easy-to-beat Carolina team. But wow, you know what? We thought that last week, and Carolina comes out and makes a game of it against Kansas City. So you know what? Maybe we don't poo-poo. Maybe we don't dismiss and say, hey, Mayfield's got a good matchup against the Panthers, and that's all we need to know. Great. Good matchup. Stroud, great matchup against Jackson. Look at all these great matchups against Jacksonville. Kyler Murray, playable spot against the Vikings. These are 3 great road matchups in a row. Mayfield, Stroud, and Murray, all playable. All very playable. Cousins at home against the Chargers. Again, I think I like the other side of that game a little bit, but Cousins can get it done every once in a while as well. It's been a minute since Sam Darnold has given us anything good. Yeah, there we go. Not too bad against Chicago last week, 24-24. It's about his peak. Do we feel like he could do that against Arizona? Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about what he should do. Stafford at the Saints. Also, Stafford coming off a solid 20-pointer. Not normally a guy who's getting you 30s, but since the return of Puka and Cooper Kupp, he's been pretty decent. Some 25s, a 27 mixed in, a 20. So at 5,800, 6,000, we need about a 24. I think he can do it, but you know, that's about his range. All good plays. It's going to be another week where it's going to be harder to really narrow down the quarterbacks because a lot of these guys are very playable. Russell Wilson, again, I'm not a big play Russell Wilson guy, but, you know, okay. Against the Bengals, playable. Justin Herbert on the road at Atlanta. This one stands out to me a little bit. The running back got hurt last week. Herbert should be very playable. Ran a little bit. Couple rushing touchdown for Herbert. So, you know, obviously later in the week, we'll figure out who the chalk is. And I don't want to be on that chalk, whoever the hell it is. But for now, Herbert stands out. He looks like pretty good play as well. Easy to stack. Stood out as the top points per dollar value. So I'm going to plug him in there. But I do want to talk about a few more of these guys. Drake May, also acceptable play. 15s, 19s. You know, big games are going to come for him. They are going to come. They'll be there. Haven't been there yet. Geno at the Jets, not super exciting. Oh, revenge narrative for Geno. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Richardson always can get it done as well. Going to have to run for touchdowns if it's going to happen. And, you know, we know what the downside is. When it's not working, he's getting you 12. Literally, he can only seem to produce 12 fantasy points with his arm. The rest have to come from the legs. So, Richardson, you got to take the bad with the bad and get a little bit of good. Who else? T-Law, no. Rodgers, no. I'm genuinely curious, like, to see what Levis did last week. Fumble lost, interception, touch. I mean, he looks like he's playing better, but it's really not. It's mostly the defense that's been playing better over there. Tyrod Taylor. You know what? If Taylor starts for the Jets, I'm interested. If this happens, if the Taylor thing happens, I'm interested. I'm weirdly more interested in him than I would be in Aaron Rodgers. And that's freaking weird. But I am. Can't help it. Bryce Young, also, I mean, come on, bro. It's a no for me, dog. Even when they scored 30 points or 27 last week, this guy couldn't get it done. Like, where did the points come from? This guy never gets it done. Stinks. No Bryce Young for me. That's it for the quarterback group. Let's jump over to running backs here and start at the top, work our way down. You know, of course, starting with Saquon Barkley, sure. I mean, he's been the best running back this year. I got nothing bad to say. It's not a great matchup. Baltimore is pretty good against running backs, but so what? Literally, so what? He's Saquon Barkley. Don't worry about the matchup. He's awesome. Now, the better matchup, of course, is Joe Mixon. And I think he's almost a must-play at Jacksonville. Too good of a spot to pass up. We saw in the same matchup that both of the Detroit running backs absolutely tore it up. And this is just one guy, Mixon. So he should be a smash. Kamara, fine. You know, Kamara loses so many touchdowns when Taysom Hill is in the game. It's not even funny. He really does. Breece Hall, fine. Let's see who the Jets quarterback is. Bijan, very much playable. Where's that volume? I wish he had more of it, but yeah, when he gets 20 carries, he's just a beast. He's really a 20 points machine. 7, 14, 21, 28. So yeah, I think Bijan is very playable at this price point. Same with Kyren. It's been a while since we had those signature Kyren score, putting it in the end zone games, but that's just coming. That's coming. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Kyren. He's awesome. That's coming. Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, another one. Just no. The way this offense operates right now, it's so unsexy. I can't even really fully describe it. It's just not sexy at all. Dobbins with the knee injury. We'll find out what happened there. Connor did not, where was the volume? 7 carries, 8 yards, a bunch of targets last week. I don't know what happened there with Connor, but that floor is sketchy. Aaron Jones had a great game against Chicago. It didn't look like a great matchup. I think Aaron Jones is very much a playable spot. You never know. Aaron Jones is so all over the place. 5, and then a 23, a 12, 12, 5, 15. It's been a while, but he definitely can pop at times, and it's a good matchup for him as well. I don't mind it. Chase Brown, look at all this volume. 22 carries, 7 targets, still the main guy. Is Moss still out, or whoever the hell is on that team backing him up? Assuming he is, I think we can go right back to Chase Brown as well this week. Not a good matchup, though, against Pittsburgh, but who cares? He's catching passes. Yeah, I'm not super excited about Brian Robinson or Najee Harris, really. I just don't like Najee Harris. No, it's terrible, but I'm just not a fan. Not of the person, but of the player. I think Ramondre here is acceptable against the Colts. If they're not getting blown out like they did against Miami, he's going to be used. And the Colts are not a team that's blowing anybody out. So I think Ramondre is actually playable, matchup based. See what Irving did last week. Oh, wow. Here's what's impressive. Bucky Irving, 6 receptions. I think Bucky is really the better. He just seems like the better running back between him and Rachaad White. It's such a shame. I had such high hopes for Rachaad White, but it really is not good there. If you have Rachaad White, I need to be selling him in Dynasty. My Dynasty people are watching. Send me an offer. It's time to move Rachaad White. ETN has the whole backfield to himself. Doesn't matter. Still not very good, but, it's noteworthy that he should have the whole thing. Yeah, here's Rachaad White. So where's Irving is now more expensive than White. White comes in off of last week, 12 carries, only 1 target, and you see how everything flips. Now, again, Irving and White get the cherry matchup against the Panthers. That is the nut matchup. So you really want to play one of these guys, but it's probably Bucky Irving. But the flip side is it might be neither. Brooks is back and fully healthy at this point, but I don't think it makes a difference. I think they're still playing Chuba ahead of him, so I don't think that matters too much. So that's our running back position. Let me grab an RB2 for this lineup here. I want to spend up. I want one of the better names here, ideally, or at least in a great matchup. I think we go with Bucky, though. I want to see what happens. Who's the best spend up option? I can't pay up. I can't get Mixon and Barkley in the same lineup together. I wouldn't mind Bijan here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Bijan as a bring back against our Chargers start of the lineup. Okay, let's keep going. Jumping over to defense first, as I like to see how much salary. This is how I build my lineups for myself. Start with a couple of core plays. I'm bouncing around a lot more in that position, but I like to get the defense in there, a tight end, and then kind of fill in the rest so I see how much money I have to spend. So let's start at defense. And of course, when picking a defense, I always start from the bottom and work my way up. I'm looking for the cheapest viable defense option. And, Jaguars, no, they're terrible. No. Titans at Washington, maybe. I'd rather be a home team. Cardinals at Minnesota, probably not. But Jets, Jets at home against Seattle, whatever they do at quarterback, I don't think it matters. Seattle's a good team. It's not some team that I think will give up a lot of points, but I think that's a playable spot. Patriots against Anthony Richardson, playable. I don't mind it. Let's see here. I think Patriots is who I'm going to plug in for now because Anthony Richardson is a turnover machine, and I think that's kind of the cheapest viable. I think Jets or the Patriots would be kind of the cheapest viables for me. But let's scroll up and see if there's any that actually stand out as exciting plays. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, no. Seattle Jets, maybe. No. So the exciting plays on paper, quote unquote, should be probably Commanders and maybe Bucks. But you know what? Nothing really excites me. So I'm kind of excited to pay down. Even the pay-up options, they don't get me that jazzed. Not that jazzed about it. We'll see as the week progresses, but it seems like, our Tommy DeVito, the best one would probably be targeting Tennessee with Washington Commanders at 3,400. That would be, Will Levis never seems to go through a game without turning it over at least once or twice. Tight end position. Start at the top. McBride, massive game, 15 targets, 28 fantasy points. Finally, where was that? Finally, that was awesome. Taysom Hill now priced as a stud, coming off of that game where he had he was like the primary wide receiver. Is that going to continue? I don't know. I have no idea. That was crazy, right? But worth a shot. Why not? Right? So Taysom Hill at 5K, I guess it's irrelevant. Ingram, yeah. If Lawrence comes back, that's fine. Pitts, always okay. Cade Otton, kind of coming down back to earth here. What happened with Mike Evans last week? Only 6 targets for Evans. Only a couple targets for Otton. You know what? I like the price. I do. I like the price on Otton. 4,500. Still no Godwin on that team. I think it's acceptable. I don't mind it. TJ Hawkinson also. TJ Hawkinson's a stud, and people forgot that he's a stud. I love it, man. I'm playing Hawkinson in this lineup. He's such a stud, and he's priced at 4,400. This is a guy who should probably be more like a 6K player. So, Vikings don't have that many weapons. They're going to throw it to Hawkinson, especially in a potentially competitive matchup. So let's plug Hawkinson in there. But Otton, okay. Henry's fine. Let's see what Gesicki's been doing. He's gross. Never know when he's going to pop. Gesicki's really only when T. Higgins is out. Will Dissly. Now they write in letters because they miss me. Dissly. Acceptable. Not exciting at 4K, but acceptable. But not exciting. He could probably get a touchdown, though. Yeah, there's Andrews at 3,900. Sure. I don't mind that. I just think this price is crazy for Andrews. I mean, he does not get a ton of targets, but he does get touchdowns. 4, 8, 12, 16. Doesn't need a ton of fantasy production to pay off. So that's fine. Anybody else? No. Not really seeing anything that's popping. Maybe later in the week, a Schoonmaker will present itself. But as for now, I think this looks pretty good. And we're going to roll with Hawkinson. So with that being said, we've got 5,500 left for 3 more wide receiver spots and a flex. We know we're pairing up Herbie with at least someone, and I'm just going to jump right down to that person, which is McConkey. Ooh, priced up McConkey. Well, spendy McConkey. I don't like it. But yet here we are. This is our life now. McConkey, right? So you got to pair up Herbert with someone. It had to be McConkey or Dissly. Quentin Johnston is a big no. No. I have to look at this. Let's game log. 0 for 5. Those weren't errant throws. He dropped them all. How do you drop 3 passes wide open? You suck. This guy is so athletic. He's got all the gifts in the world, all the natural talent that you could ever ask for from a player. You suck, Quentin Johnston. I would cut him today. If I was the Chargers after the Monday night performance, I would cut that fucker. And I'm not even kidding. Leave, take your shit, pack it up, get the fuck out. Don't come around here no more. And as a matter of fact, that's how I would do the cutting. Take your shit, fuck off, don't come around here no more. That's how I would say it. That's my GM style. What's up, Woody Johnson? I'm available. All right, where were we? wide receiver group, NFL Week 13, main slate, DraftKings, Sunday, main slate only. All right, starting at the top, Jamar Chase, he's a beast. What can you say? He's going to be covered well by a divisional opponent who's probably going to double team his ass, and it's probably not a great spot, and Joey Porter Jr. will be on him and all of those things. But Jamar Chase is awesome. Now, A.J. Brown last week without Devontae Smith did get some targets, put up a good number, and I think we have the same dynamic coming this week. I don't know that Devontae Smith will play. Let's see. Q-Tag. Ruled out last week. What is the injury? Hammy. Yeah, that doesn't seem promising. So assuming if Smith doesn't play, yeah, we go right back to A.J. Brown. Now, that might be more of a stack with Hurts piece, but maybe not. Hurts is expensive. So, yeah, A.J. Brown playable. Jefferson, fine. Totally playable. Nico Collins is great. Nico, what did you do? 9 targets, 5 receptions, 20 fantasy points. Man, this guy, he's just so fast to get to 20, 30 points. 18, 20. He needs about 32. He needs a monster game to pay off, as all of these guys do, but he could totally get it done. Puka and Cooper Kupp now priced the same. Who's better? I don't know. 11 targets for Cooper Kupp, 20 points last week. Puka, 13 targets, 23. I mean, they're both good. Anything about this matchup? There's nothing intimidating about the matchup indoors, there's nothing intimidating about this matchup at all. Which guy's going to shine? I don't know. They're both good. McLaurin is fine. Adams, no. Wilson, I'd be more interested in. Again, we don't know the Jets quarterback situation, so going to ignore that. For now, we got 5,300, so we are going to have to spend down. We can't just spend on anybody. Pickens, definitely playable here. Had a great week. Actually, no. No, I'm wrong. Thought he did better than he did. Who was it? Cortland Sutton? I guess we'll get to that and I'll see. I thought Pickens did okay. We liked Pickens last week. Did not work out at all. I think this could be different though. Mike Evans, also 6 targets, 5 receptions, kind of knocking the dust off against the Giants. They have the similar kind of game here against the Panthers, but if we don't play some Mike Evans, we are crazy. He's a week off of injury. He's quote unquote getting better, getting healthier, getting more active. The smash is coming. There's no Godwin. The smash is coming. This guy will win you your league. So, yeah, don't sleep on him. T. Higgins, I actually like him more than Jamar Chase in a lot of ways. I think Chase will get the double coverage and T. Higgins will be open. So let's keep T. Higgins in mind for this game. Drake London price coming down a little bit. Coming down. It got a little out of control. He put up 36. All of a sudden, he's a 7K player. Nope. Bring it back down. Bring him where he belongs. Drake London should be 6,500 zone. That's where he belongs. Yeah, Metcalf gets the Jets. JSN, no. Flowers, okay. I don't mind Flowers here. Marvin Harrison, I like it, right? I think we go right back to that play. We tried it last week. Didn't really work. I think we go right back to it. Harrison, also big game's going to pop at some point, tournament special. Tank Dell hasn't had a whole lot of production this year at all. Yeah, Ridley. Also, anytime he starts to become chalky, beware. Mooney, Brian Thomas Jr. is back, right? He's been great with Trevor Lawrence. If Lawrence was healthy, I'd like this play a little bit. And of course, Addison coming off of the smash week, 33 fantasy points. Everything went to Addison last week. It was the weirdest thing because they usually kind of just ignore him. And last week, I think what happened really was the Bears sold out to shut down Justin Jefferson, as they kind of do. That's what the Bears do, especially in divisional. They have a game plan for it. And it led to Addison just absolutely smashing. So it couldn't have been a mistake. Pittman, okay. It's getting targeted. Plenty. Cheap enough. I don't mind the price. Johnston, no. Dead to me. You're dead to me. Demario Douglas price keeps coming up as well. 7 targets again last week. 11 fantasy points. Just all right. We need to find somebody sub 5K to make this lineup work. So I actually think we could double tight end it and go different as well. But let's see if there's any wide receiver in the cheapest depths of the WR group that could be interesting. Rashad Bateman never gets a lot of love, but gets some deep bombs every once in a while. He can be playable. Can Westbrook Akine keep his touchdown streak going? This has been ridiculous. It's actually getting ridiculous with Westbrook Akine. At some point, I might be actually forced to play him. Where's Palmer? Probably overpriced. There he is. Okay, 4,300. So if we wanted to double down with Herbert, it would be McConkey Palmer. The problem is Palmer is just not that good. So it's hard for me to want to do this. But the double stack, you just put Palmer in there with McConkey and call it a day. But I just hate Palmer as a player. I don't think he's very good. It's probably worth this price for a 12, 16. Has he gotten a 16 yet this year? No. It's hard to even justify this price point. Nope, I'm out. Pass. Let's see who else. McLeod. These are all turds. Deontay Johnson. Oh, how the mighty has fallen. That is amazing. What a disastrous team switch that was for his fantasy enthusiasts. Bourne and Booty will once again be sort of the go-to pay down options. I don't really get it. Okay. So I think what we're going to do here with this lineup is, because I do kind of want to spend a little bit more than what I have remaining. Like, I don't want to be locked into one of these very few, the small group. And again, Quentin Johnston, if you're feeling dangerous. But I'd like to get Marvin Harrison in here, and maybe something like, let's see if we went with a more expensive option like T. Higgins, who I do think, or even Mike Evans here, who I think can break a slate. Yes. So if we play some slightly better options at wide receiver, we are left with this punt spot, 3,400 for the final spot. And what I'm going to do is look for a tight end that I think is acceptable. This actually squeezed us a little too low. I might have to come down a little bit. So let's come down from Evans here, who I like. And how about Brian Thomas Jr.? Yeah, maybe with a healthy, he's had some big games with a healthy Trevor Lawrence. If Lawrence is back, I don't mind that. And then that leaves us 4,600 for the flex, a little bit more wiggle room here. And there we can kind of get, there we go, like a Cade Otton type. So instead of Mike Evans, we get Cade Otton in there. Let's see who else could. That's pretty much it. Pitts. If we wanted to kind of do a bring back with this game, we could do Pitts and get that piece from Atlanta, that second piece his Pitts had. I mean, he's so bad, though. Really hate this guy. So I don't hate him. I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the player. I hate the game. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't hate the guy. But come on, let's roll with Cade Otton, double tight end for the first look this week. Herbert stacked with Ladd McConkey. We got Joe Mixon at running back in a spectacular smash matchup. We got to bring back on the Chargers Atlanta game with Bijan. Marvin Harrison, just a standalone play against Minnesota, a team that's allowing a ton of yardage to opposing wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr., also similar, good matchup, top wide receiver for his team. TJ Hawkinson, Cade Otton, double tight end with Patriots defense. That's your DraftKings NFL Week 13 main slate. First look lineup. Again, it's just a first look. Just some of the players that were popping in the early going here. We got a lot of week to go. We're really going to push this slate aside for the most part until Thursday, and even the Friday's individual game is finished, and we'll dive back into it. And I'm sure there'll be lots of different ideas at that point. So make sure, if you want to see the cheat sheets, all the access to the domination station, the prop projections players, all the stuff we have to offer here at DFS Army, of course, check out the Black Friday special. BF 2024 gets you 50% off your first month of VIP from $89.99 down to $45. Couple of lattes later, and you're good to go. Get in there, check out DFS Army, BF 2024, half off your first month of VIP. I will see you guys later in the week.